Hey everyone, I'm Rebecca and welcome to WatchMojo. Today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 times Whose Line Is It Anyway bits went wrong.
You know? And take me on a... Oh, sorry, one word.
For this list, we're looking at the funniest times that the entire cast broke character and or cracked up because of a bit that went off the rails. What's your favorite Whose Line moment? Mine might actually be number one. Be sure to let us know in the comments. All right, let's get into it. Number 10, Backstreet Boys. Is Colin the funniest member of Whose Line? Tough to say, though it often seems like Colin is the only one who can really make Ryan break. During a game of greatest hits, Ryan gives Colin a riddle.
What kind of bird always says the name of our next band?
Not taking the riddle seriously, Colin says Arctic Tern before claiming that Arctic Terns scream Backstreet Boys.
And what sound does an Arctic tern make?
Backstreet Boys?
The surprising answer, plus Colin's complete dedication to the bit, causes Ryan to break into hysterics. The laughing continues for almost a solid minute while Colin sits there looking particularly proud of himself.
That's wrong!
Why don't you tell us what's right?
I was thinking an owl.
As he should be. Number 9. And take me on a... Drew Carey wasn't a master improv performer, but he was always good for a laugh, even if those laughs were sometimes unintentional. Case in point, this bit from a game of Three-Headed Broadway Star.
You are my soulmate, baby.
The point of the game is to sing a funny song one word at a time. While singing You've Got Soul, Drew gets a bit carried away and passionately sings 5 words before realizing his mistake.
And take me on a... Oh, sorry, one word.
The bit goes totally off the rails, and Drew cannot even finish the song without laughing.
Girl, because she's so beautiful.
And then he accidentally interrupts Wayne and things get even worse. What a complete, albeit hilarious, disaster. Number 8, tapioca. Here we have another game of greatest hits and another instance of Colin utterly obliterating Ryan.
What comes to mind when I say Ricky Ricardo and great cigars?
Oh, tapioca.
In one of the most famous segments from the show, Colin makes Ryan break by singing Tapioca in Ricky Ricardo's voice.
What's the name of his big song? Tapioca! Tapioca!
No, Colin.
Ryan desperately tries to get through it without laughing, but eventually succumbs in the middle of a sentence.
I'm talking about Cuba, Colin.
They try to get through the rest of the bit, but Ryan has difficulty composing himself and continues laughing. It's exceedingly rare to see Ryan laugh like this, so fans cherished every second of it.
Tapioca! Tapioca!
Number 7. Horrible segways. In this bit, Ryan learned a valuable lesson. Don't tick off Colin with a clumsy segue. It will come back to haunt you. After Ryan awkwardly segues to the jitterbug, Colin simply stares at the camera in disbelief and sarcastically comments on Ryan's work.
I've got a bit of a bug. Oh, and I'm a little jittery. Oh, jittery bug, jitterbug.
Wow! Nice segue.
Ryan adds insult to injury, however, with a jab at Colin's age.
I wasn't alive when the jitterbug was popular, but Colin told me all about it.
And Colin spends the rest of the game making increasingly awful segues.
I went to a circus and I saw the strong man bend a car. Bend a car? Pat Benatar!
We go from Ben Dakar to Pat Benatar, and then the particularly horrendous bed-caught Philly paper to Red Hot Chili Peppers. Even Ryan can't believe that one.
Wait a minute, bed caught Philly paper? Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Number 6, Colin chokes. Oh, the wonders of doing comedy in front of a live studio audience. Sometimes people goof up, and sometimes they choke on their own saliva. That was the case in this game of greatest hits, as Colin choked in the middle of a sentence.
You know?
Ryan immediately cracks up, but Colin's follow-up joke causes him to lose it completely.
Swallow before you speak.
Perhaps the best part about the gaffe is hearing Drew Carey giggling off screen.
I'm absolutely fine, thanks.
These being masters of the craft, they use Colin's goof to launch into a whole new bit, with Colin stating that he was doing a punk thing reminiscent of his time with the Naughty Boys.
I didn't know what you were doing. It sounded like you were just joking.
No, I was doing a punk thing.
And then he totally ruins it by segueing from a punk voice to an old sea captain. Number 5. Chip jumps on Ryan. Sometimes the performers get a little too excited. In this game of Hollywood director, an overexcited Chip jumps directly onto Ryan's back. And Ryan is clearly none too thrilled with the idea.
What'd you do to my woman? Ah!
He immediately breaks character, yells at Chip to get off, and even swears in frustration. Meanwhile, Wayne hilariously stands off to the side and cringes. Colin immediately jumps in and ends the segment, chiding Chip and telling him that Ryan is over 40.
My God! He's over 40!
Ryan continues to joke about the incident after returning to his seat, referring to the sensations of discs popping and vertebrae rubbing against each other.
Hey, that disc popped right back in. I broke Ryan.
Number 4. Wrong names. It's only natural for Whose Line cast members to poke fun at each other, and in this hilarious case, it came at the expense of Wayne. While introducing a game, Drew accidentally calls Wayne Brad, mixing him up with fellow cast member Brad Sherwood.
And then we give the title to Brad and Chip here.
Wayne makes the most of it, jokingly walking away in upset disappointment.
What? Brad showed up? Oh, what I call Wayne, I'm sorry.
In retaliation, Ryan calls Drew Clive, a reference to the UK Whose Line host Clive Anderson.
Oh, man.
Hey, Clive's allowed to make mistakes.
Not wanting to let it go, Drew once again targets Wayne by apologizing to Greg.
I'm sorry, Greg.
It's always great watching a bit go wrong when it's all in good fun, especially when the bit hasn't even started yet. Number 3. Ryan bangs his head. The desk light fiasco has to be the most popular bit in Whose Line history. While playing Party Quirks, Ryan is assigned Carol Channing, whose head keeps getting stuck to things.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
He starts easy by butting his head into Colin's chest in the floor, and then he goes for Drew's desk.
I'm fine.
He accidentally runs into and shatters the desk light, prompting the audience to gasp, Kathy to scream and check on Ryan, Colin to cover his mouth, and Drew to lean over and survey the damage.
I'm fine. It's okay.
Ryan does his best to keep the bit going and never breaks character, even when Drew is picking glass out of his hair.
You wouldn't have a suture around the house, would you? Yeah. Stop picking the glass from my hair.
The game continues for another minute, but everyone just jokes about Ryan's misfortune. Number 2. Richard Simmons. In one of the show's most popular episodes, fitness instructor Richard Simmons was brought in to play living scenery.
Since I don't have any real props to work with tonight.
I'll be the prop.
And while everyone knew things would get wild, no one could have predicted just how hilarious and outrageous they would get.
Hey, why don't we look at the scenery through the little telescopes they have
All
here?
right.
Throughout the game, Colin intentionally puts himself and Ryan in compromising positions that are meant to elicit suggestive responses from Simmons. Simmons does the rest.
Hey, why don't we get out the deck chairs?
Alrighty.
You get the shiny one.
Okay.
The game is a bust from the very beginning, as everyone collapses into fits of laughter.
This one's wet.
Both the audience and Drew go absolutely ballistic, with Ryan and Colin even admiring the wild and guffawing audience. While they're obviously used to laughing, they've likely never seen an audience so delirious and unrestrained. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Irish drinking song shenanigans. As we've seen, Whose Line is filled with some glorious disasters. But none were as bad as this one during a game of Irish drinking song.
One night I was getting freaky.
With my girly lane. Boy, we had some fun.
And then,
It gets exactly 3 lines in before going haywire, with Ryan mumbling nonsense that causes Wayne and Drew to break into hysterics. Colin proceeds to meow like a cat, and the music slowly peters out while everyone collects themselves. It eventually starts back up again, but the lyrics prove just as disastrous. By the end, Colin is the only one standing and singing the song, as everyone else is bent over in laughter.
I think there was a girl involved.
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't know what to say.
Never before has a bit gone to such shambles in such a short amount of time. It's really quite extraordinary. I used to watch the hell out of Whose Line as a kid, US and UK. And I can definitely agree that the Irish drinking song was always a good time. Now, if you are a fan of shenanigans like me, you should come over to Game Show Mojo and check out What the List, our trivia game show. If you like laughing, if you like trivia, if you like embarrassing stories, you will love What the List. So be sure to head over to Game Show Mojo to check that out. Oh, I-de-di-de-di-de-di-di-di-di-di. See ya.